I'm not. It's a different couch.
Is this thing still plugged in? Hell yeah. Oh, girl, come on now. Could have run a brush through that thing. I want to shut my door. My kids are here.
Okay, are we ready?
Yeah.
No, she was kidding. She's not ready.
I'm ready, bitch. I was born ready. So.
You were born something. Okay. What is that?
But
what did you just do?
It's my emotional support cat.
It sounded like sex noises.
We don't judge.
Okay, it's a little early for that, but all right. All right, welcome to this week's episode of Take It or Leave It. I am half of the psychiatric party, Meredith Masony.
Hello, and I'm the other half, Tiffany Jenkins. This podcast will discuss all things marriage, motherhood, and everything in between. Please remember that we're not professionals at anything you may actually need, so any advice we give you can take
or leave because it might be crap. On today's episode of Take It or Leave It, I don't know. Are we talking Legoland?
Sorry. Just that made me laugh because I could see why that would be a question.
Yes, yeah.
I never heard back from you about the lady, so I wasn't sure.
She has yet to respond to my text. But like I said to you, I would not be worried about however you want to handle the situation. I just didn't know if you wanted to.
Yeah, I think we should. I feel like I need to, for sure.
Okay, all right.
Unless you had something else in mind.
No, I thought you were in Wisconsin. So why don't we backtrack?
Okay.
Why don't we just backtrack for just a second and we'll go to the thread.
Oh, are we backing all the way up to the Legoland thread?
We'll go to just before that. We'll go to I'm going to be in Wisconsin on Thursday, so maybe we could record sometime this weekend or something. No problem. We can talk about it next week on the podcast when you're back, if you want to do that. Okay, great. Then we continue to text about other things. Let me text her. Okay, this morning at 7:57. No podcast today, right? Just this is me double checking. This is my text thread double checking. I assumed we were doing it, but I'm okay either way. This is Tiffany's response. I said, thought you were in Wisconsin. Is that maybe next week? ? Yeah, next week I'm in Wisconsin. I just went back and reread my message. Did not specify which Thursday. I could see why you'd be confused. All right, let's do 9:30. And then we're here and it's 9:46 and we're having a great day.
That's my bad.
It's okay because this is exactly how life happens for the majority, I think, of people that live on planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I really do think this is how people operate in general. I know that it seems like lots of people out there have their shit together and everything is so organized and all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, but it's really just a shit show. And it's fine because there's no reason that we couldn't make it work when I realized she was still in the state.
I mean, if this was a one-off, it's like, yeah, this is what people do. But bitch, how many times have you been like no, you literally said you were giving birth to a baby.
Mhm.
And I'm like, no, I said I wanted to give. And then I look back and the message is like, I'm in labor and delivery, giving birth to a baby. Like I don't know where the wires get crossed, but it's something I need to work on for sure.
Yeah, but it's also nothing that at this point concerns me. I just kind of I try to roll with it and try to go with the flow of it because it's totally fine because because a couple of weeks ago when we got back to back on Thursday mornings.
Who's ringing my doorbell at this hour?
At this hour, it's 9:45. Somebody came in. There's motion at your door. I see it.
Oh my gosh. We're not solicitors. Oh no. It's the neighbors trying to get me to go run with them.
What are the neighbors trying to do?
Get me to go jog around the neighborhood because I commented on her picture. Bitch, next time you're jogging, I'm going to join you when I see you out there in my Crocs.
Tiffany, are you leaving them out there alone?
I am, yes, but I think my boyfriend might have been at the door.
Oh my God. So you guys saw it first. Tiffany told somebody for some godforsaken reason that she would jog.
I was giving her a compliment. I was like, damn, bitch, you look good. Chill out. I swear, next time I see you out there running, I'm going to join you in my Crocs. And her and her friend just showed up. I'm like, God dang.
Okay, they got so excited because they thought that you guys were going to be running buddies. They have no idea.
Absolutely. I was just giving her a compliment. I love her so much. So much. I probably should.
Okay. First of all, if you ever ran with anyone, that might end our friendship.
You mean other than you?
Well, how many times have I asked you to exercise with me and you are adamant that you will not move, in quotes, your legs?
Correct.
So if I find you out and about, there's going to be jealousy will be my first emotion. Then there's going to be some rage.
Okay.
I'm going to have to work through it, but I'm just saying like that would really get my goat. You know what I mean?
I don't know that people say that, but for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
But no, you should definitely jog at some point. Like and not even, I wouldn't even push you as far to say a jog. A stroll would be a great place to start.
No, this girl is a fitness model, dude. I can't explain.
She's a fitness model.
No, but she's so sweet. Like I've known her since I was little. We used to party together. She's always been unbelievably gorgeous on the outside and annoyingly unbelievably gorgeous on the inside. I'm like, you don't get both, bitch. Like, pick one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the whole God doesn't give with two hands. Apparently he does. Just not to us.
Right. Yeah, she's a really great person, just in general, just wholesome, gorgeous, beautiful.
Well,
Anyways,
awesome.
not gonna fucking happen.
Okay. Well, on that note, why don't we circle the wagons and go back to the awesome trip that we just had at Legoland? I had an awesome time.
Okay. Are we being honest about our experiences or?
Yeah, I think we do have to be honest. We've been honest. I would say 99% of the time in places that we can completely be honest. So I would say, why would we lie now? And
You just started a lie, is why I'm asking.
I had a phenomenal time at Legoland.
You said we.
Okay, let's rephrase. My family and your children had a wonderful time at Legoland.
Mm-hmm.
How about we go with that? Would you say that that is honest?
100%.
Okay, so then we have started at 100% honesty. So why don't we go back to how your trip started? Because that is going to lay the groundwork, I think.
Okay. I think that if we're going to go back to how the trip started, I would like to start here. Almost. Sorry. Okay.
Oh, you're
So
getting receipts. I see what you're doing.
no. You brought up the 25th. You brought up Legoland and said, "Would you be interested?" And then you explained what it would include, and you said, "This just explains my mental state, okay? I just want you to be aware." Heck yes. When are you thinking? Is my response. Heck yes. Just put a pin in that.
Mm.
July 10th through the 12th, would that work for you? And then I ignored you. You sent me pictures of you getting a brain scan, ignored you about your session. You sent me the link. I ignored that. And then you said also July 10th through the 12th works, question mark. I need to let them know today and send over your info. I said, are there any other dates available or no? I'm trying to switch shit around now. And at this point, I'm mad that we're going to Legoland, just so you know. Like
Yeah. Oh, I
somehow
could tell in the text. Yes.
it, you said, not really, hold please. What about July 17th through the 19th? I said, I have a speaking engagement those days too. July is nuts. You're like, okay, what's the issue with blah, blah, blah? What about this? And then I said, let's just do the friggin' 10th through the 12th if you need an answer today. I'm losing my fucking mind and I'm overwhelmed. I won't have the kids on those days, but I'll go if it's for the podcast. And you said, don't stress, hang on. What about the following Monday, the 14th through the 16th? Do you have them then? I said, I do have them then. That day works for me. I'm sorry for the delay. I'm going through it. You said, it's all good. So the 14th through the 16th, it is. It'll be very low key. And then I said, I'm in the bath eating mac and cheese and crying. I didn't get hormones because my hormones were fine. And then we talked about testosterone.
Which you didn't know was a hormone.
Right.
Yeah.
And then and then we made this plan, okay? Talked about a whole bunch of other stuff. And at this point, I'm like resentful about Legoland. And but that's not your fault, that's my fault. And then I said, hey, going forward, we can't talk about blank anymore. And then so we're going to Legoland, which my thing about theme parks is there has never been one time we've gone to any kind of theme park and I haven't ruined it. And I'm not just being like pity party. Genuinely, every single time we've gone, I have ruined it. So it got to the point where eventually I would be left home for fun activities. And it wasn't that I tried to ruin it intentionally. It actually created a tsunami of guilt afterward. Like, why can't my kids have a parent that just has fun? Why can't my kids have a mom that likes to have a good time and isn't staring at them with horror in her eyes all the time? But I thought I was better because I went through exposure therapy and because my new amazing, wonderful, incredible boyfriend would be there for emotional support. He was having an issue with his eyes, so I was going to be driving to Legoland, which is fine, except for the minute we got on the interstate, it started pouring down rain, to which I began sobbing because I also have a phobia of driving in the rain because my grandma traumatized me when I was little. So I was just, my kids are in the back seat, so excited. I'm silently sobbing so that I don't traumatize them. And he's like calming me down and stuff. And eventually the rain subsides. I'm like, thank God. And then I started getting what felt like a baby kicking my stomach, like weird phantom kicks. And then suddenly I had to pull the car over and vomit profusely behind the car, but I had to do it sneakily because my daughter has emetophobia. So then I got in the passenger seat and I was like, I just need to rest. There's 40 minutes left of this ride. I made my poor blind boyfriend drive. He wasn't really blind, but and I just wanted to rest for the 40 minutes. I wasn't feeling good. I just puked and my kids were wilding out, doing WWE wrestling moves in the back seat. So I asked him like 7 times. I'm like, please stop, knock it off, you guys. And then eventually came like the threat. And I'm like, I'm not joking. I really just want to close my eyes for 40 minutes. If you guys do not stop hitting each other, you're going to be sorry. I'm serious. There will be consequences. And then I think 24 seconds later, I heard, stop. No, you stop, Mom. Caden's touching me. No, she hit me first. And I just like blacked out. And I'm like, damn, I am so sad for you guys. Like, I'm sad for you. That sucks. And my first thought was, Legoland, we're not going. But then it was, for work and you're going to be there. And I was like, I can't do that. I got their hopes up. How else can I punish them? And I was like, all right, when we get there, you guys. And this was later on when we calmed down. We were at the hotel. I was like, listen, I just want to let you know that the consequences to your actions earlier are today when we were at the park. Don't ask me for snacks. Don't ask me for toys. Don't ask me for treats. Don't ask me. I'll buy you food, but nothing extra. We're going to be here for a few more days. So until you can show me that you can be respectful, you're not getting any treats. And they were like, okay, thank God we're still going, blah, 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 blah. But by then I was already like losing it. And then I was putting sunscreen spray on them, and Caden refused to let me spray his face, which I was already at like a 10. And I'm like, get over here and let me spray your face. And he's like, no. And I'm like, dude, like this kid's 10 years old. He plays tackle football, basketball, flag football, video games where he's shooting people and killing them, but I can't give you a little spritz in the face. You know what I mean? It was so frustrating. So then I did what I always do when I'm in this rage mode, and I'm like, get over here or else there's going to be consequences. And he's like, what are the consequences? And this is the dumb thing that I do. I always say the most extreme shit. You know what I mean? When I'm angry, because I really just want them to do what I'm asking them to do. So normally it's like, I will burn the house down. I'm just kidding. I don't say that. But I was like, then you're not going, dude. And he stood there for a minute and he's like, fine, and went back in his bed. And I looked at Daniel, and Daniel's like, I'll stay here with him. And I just started crying because I'm like, God dang, this sucks, dude. I wanted this to be an amazing experience for all of us. And now I have to leave him and Daniel behind at the hotel, da, 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 da. And I was like devastated about it. But I'm also super emotional lately. And so Daniel was like, all right, I'm going to go have a talk with him. Talked him into getting his face sprayed. He did it. And then we went. And I was leaving the hotel at like an 11. We hadn't even gotten in the damn park yet. And then we met up with you almost as soon as we got there. And that's when shit went down.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to tell my part in the shit?
Yes, if you want, or I could tell my part, but I feel like my part. Yeah, tell your version from here what happened, because I imagine it was jarring. Well, wait, I forgot something.
Okay, what'd you forget?
I forgot our text messages. I had sent you a text, I think, trying to give you a heads up.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, we're about to head over. My kids are being buttholes. They get no snacks or toys today, FYI. And you said, I will get them whatever they want, exclamation point. And I said, you better not. And you said, you're not my real mom. Which I get. You want to be the cool aunt.
Well, and it's the shit you say to me every time I tell you something. Your first response to me is, you're not my real mom.
100%.
Every
100%. And I knew there was humor in it, but I was dead inside at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, no, like I'm crying. It's been terrible. I just threw a remote on the floor and it busted into pieces. But anyway, we're heading over and I'm going to effing try my best to get through this. Are you at the regular park or the water park? And then you said, did they not want to come? I said, they are disrespectful AF. And then you said, I'm sorry. Where do you want to meet? And then we met. And I was there for maybe 3 minutes.
Yeah.
When you
lit the fuse. hold on 1 second.
Is he texting me?
Yeah, I actually didn't send I will get them whatever they want. That was Dave texting as me.
Are you kidding?
No, he had my phone. So I wasn't actually doing those texts. That was Dave. And then
Wait, Dave said you're not my real mom?
No, and then I said after he typed that, when I heard you say they're not getting anything, he responded, and then I didn't know what he said, but then he read the text to me that you wrote, and I said, "Respond, you're not my real mom." So I never saw the "I'll do whatever I want" text.
Well,
But
that changes things.
It doesn't really matter because what I did was I was wrong in this situation, and I will own up and up to it with my part in what I did. So Tiffany does eventually get into the water park. I run up to her like an asshole and I'm like, "Oh my God, are you that best-selling author, Tiffany Jenkins, that just wrote A Clean Mess, New York Times bestseller?" And we giggled or whatever, and she sat down, and the kids immediately wanted to get into the wave pool. So they ran off and we sat down, and Tiffany explained everything she just said to you guys. Gave me all the details, told me what happened. I was trying to comfort her and trying to be kind and be like, "I'm really sorry that happened, but we're here now. Let's kind of relax, whatever, blah, 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 blah." And Chloe gets up, walks up from out of the wave pool, walks over and says, "I'm hungry. Can I have a snack?" And I said, "Yeah, I have popcorn over there." And your head turned like out of the movie The Exorcist, where it spun around and the vomit starts shooting out of the girl's mouth. And I was like, "Oh, haha, okay, sorry, Chloe, that's my bad. Your mom said no snacks. I'm an asshole. I'm so sorry. I'm the asshole. Let me have the popcorn. I'm so sorry."
That's not exactly.
I probably said, "Knock it off," or "Come on, let her have it."
A couple of times. And then you said, "Don't stare me down." And then you said, "Can she have it?" And it took me 15 minutes. And I was like, "Sure." And then she had the bucket in her hand. And you said, "It's not that," something along the lines of, "Oh, come on," or "It's not that bad." And I said, "That's not the point."
Yeah, you said that's not the point.
And then you grabbed the popcorn out of her hand.
I did. I took it away from her and I was like, "I'm an asshole. This is me. I'm sorry. This was me." And I was still being an asshole saying I'm an asshole because I was like, really, what's the big, like, we're in Legoland. I already had the popcorn. I wasn't buying her anything. Like, I was justifying it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I didn't go and get her anything. It was already here. She just wanted a snack. And you explicitly said to me, "They will be having no snacks." Explicitly. And I was like, "Well, they can have my snacks because we didn't agree that they couldn't have my snacks." So I was justifying everything I was doing in real time while I was doing it. And I had never seen you that type of mad before. I've seen you broken down. I've seen you a puddle. I've seen you in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
This was a new level.
Yeah.
And so at that moment, my sphincter starts to pucker and I'm like, "Okay, this is bad. This is bad." So then, of course, icing on the cake, it starts to thunder and lightning and they're shutting down the park.
Mm-hmm.
So we are scurrying up underneath the pavilion with the kids. We find you because you had left.
Well, I went to go get them food.
Yeah,
and then I brought them food back, and then I ran away.
Yeah, you gave them food. You threw food at them and left.
Yep.
And Daniel had them, and so I sat with them while they were eating. And then we got told leave the park because it's a thunderstorm. So I was like, "Great, this is going to be an awesome trip." So we get up underneath the pavilion. Daniel goes and finds you. I kept the kids, ate half their lunch as to punish them. And then we were like, "Okay." We went and we sat in a restaurant trying to see if the rain was going to pass. We realized it was not going to pass. So we were like, "Okay, let's all walk back to the hotel and then we'll meet for dinner." So We all go back to the hotel. Everybody chills out. Our kids were napping and playing on their phones or whatever. You guys went back to your room. I texted.
Well, you don't know this, but that's actually not what happened.
Okay.
I ran away from the park.
I didn't hear that. I don't know what's happening at this point. I'll
Right.
just tell you my side because I've yet to, I guess, hear this side of
Yeah, exactly. I forgot. I mean, I didn't forget. I just wasn't going to tell you.
Okay. Well,
but I'll tell you now.
But this is what I knew was happening.
Right. Sorry.
Was I had gotten up from a nap. I started texting you. You were not responding to me. I checked Life 360. You disabled my permissions. So I knew you were no longer allowing me to see your location.
Yes.
And I assumed you went home. So I was like, she left. So Dave was like, put your phone down. Tiffany is a grown-up. You, if she doesn't want you to see where she is, you can't make her. And I was like, okay. So he was like, just apologize via text so you feel better and you at least can get your apology out. But if she ignores you, there's nothing that you can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'll fucking find her. I will drive around fucking Winter Haven until this bitch pops up. So I checked your iPhone location, which you disabled. Real cunt. I checked your Life 360 location, which you disabled. Real bitch. So I was like, okay, that's fine. She wants to play games. Fine. That's what I was saying in my head.
Yeah, of course.
Tell her I made you delete your first message.
So I sent a half-hearted apology, which Dave then made me delete because I was angry. And then I sent a real apology, which was, I was an asshole. I'm sorry. I don't remember the exact. I mean, we could look at the text, but I was like, I'm really sorry. Blah, 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 whatever. To no response, which was not shocking because it's Tiffany. So we went about our day. We took our kids to Golden Corral.
I know.
And then we went to...
I could still see your location.
Then we went to Walmart and bought games for the hotel room. And then we went back and we played taco, goat, cheese, pizza, something, card game. And then I was drifting off to sleep when I got a text message from you, I believe. Mm-hmm. Or was that the next morning?
No, it was that night.
It was that night?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That night, I saw you text and then I said, okay, because like you said you were sorry for your part in it, and I think accepted my apology for my part in it. And then I was like, okay, well, let's plan to meet up tomorrow to go into Legoland. And you said, okay. So why don't you tell me now where you went? Because I was not allowed to see your location.
Okay.
Which that's the first time you've ever done that to me.
Yeah, I know that it felt like I was doing that to you, and I was afraid that you would feel that way, and I apologize. But what happened was when we were leaving the restaurant while waiting out the storm, I was like, I think it was so awkward sitting there with you and your whole, I don't know how much shit you were talking to your whole family, but everybody was looking at me like I was crazy, or I imagined it, which is totally likely because I am having mental issues right now. But I felt like everybody hated me, and it felt so uncomfortable sitting there not talking to you at the same table as you. And so I was like, we got to get the fuck out of here, dude. So
yeah, I got to be honest. That was you. The kids were completely oblivious to what was going on.
Well, they heard when I said that about, I can't fake this shit, when I was talking to you before at the water park before I left. They all turned around. I said, I can't fake this shit and pretend to be happy.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
And they all turned around. And so I assumed they were like, what was that about?
Nobody was talking about you at all in that context. And I think at one point, Sophia just said to me, is Miss Tiffany okay? And I said, she's fine. She's just struggling a bit. And she said, okay. And that was the only conversation that was had. It wasn't until the next day after, like, we hadn't seen you the whole night before, that the kids asked where you were.
Okay.
They were like, is Miss Tiffany coming? home? Did she leave? Is she okay? And I was like, and that was before we saw you at breakfast.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And then it was fine.
I had said, okay, I think we're going to walk back to the hotel because I couldn't take the fucking awkwardness anymore. And then surprisingly, you got up also. And I was like, oh, that's weird. I guess she's coming too. Okay, maybe we're good. Maybe it's not, but then you like took off around the corner, like you were speed walking. And I was like, oh no, she's mad. And so then you went into like, girl, first of all, you can't say no. Because I know you like the back of my hand.
I was beelining for an icy.
Well, I saw that. I saw you ended up in an ice cream store.
Yep, I went for an icy.
And we kept walking because no snacks, you know what I mean? So
Right.
And then, of course, part of me, because I was in that mood, I'm like, she did that on purpose. She knows we can't get ice cream. So she goes right into the ice cream store. We have to pass by. Okay. Anyway, so then I'm just like so upset about the way things have turned out that when we got to the hotel, I handed Daniel the key card and I said, can you keep an eye on the kids for a sec? And I didn't even wait for his response. I just started running. I ran out of the theme park and I hid by a tree in some woods and I shut my location off because I didn't want to fucking be found. I was trying to disappear. And so I shut my location off because I knew that if you knew where I was afraid Daniel might, because I was gone for a very long time. And I was afraid that Daniel was going to be like, hey, have you talked to Tiffany? And then you'd be like, why ever on Life 360? And then somebody would show up. And I was afraid if somebody showed up to where I would do something crazy because I felt completely out of my mind. And I was sitting in the woods thinking, I just want to fucking die.
What woods?
I don't know. It's not, it wasn't like woods. It was like a wooded, so you know how the parking lot, when you keep walking through, I just kept walking and walking and walking until I found a little area and I hid.
Oh my God, Tiffany.
I had to, Meredith. I had to run. I was so unbelievably overstimulated, overwhelmed, angry, the rage that I felt when that perceived, that boundary was crossed, like it was irrational. I knew it was irrational, but it was just like a buildup of so many things. And I was thinking to myself, like, I want to die. Not that I'm going to actively kill myself because I could never, ever, ever, ever do that to my children, ever in a million years. But this is the second time this month that I've had this highly erratic meltdown. And all I could think about was, I have to die. Everybody would be so much better off if I died. And I couldn't shake it. So I just sat out there forever. And my loving, amazing, probably traumatized boyfriend was texting me and he's like, can I call or do you still need more time? And I was like, I still need more time. I wasn't ready to talk. And he's like, okay, well, would you possibly consider coming back to the hotel and we could do some grounding? And I typed yes before my mind could change. I didn't want to. So I sat there for another 30 minutes. And then I walked back to the hotel and he was waiting outside for me. I guess he'd been looking out the window and saw me walking up. And then I got so angry because my kids were like having a great time. And I'm like, I can't believe I can't keep my shit together for fucking 10 minutes at a theme park. And I just felt the shame and the guilt was so much. I put my phone on do not disturb and I threw it. And I didn't pick it up again until later that night. And when I saw your apology text, it changed everything because I shit you not, the thoughts that were going through my head, Meredith, I was like, I'm quitting the podcast. I'm quitting the Tip and Flip show. I'm quitting social media. I'm done. I'm just done. Like but then your apology text was so sweet and heartfelt. Now that I know it was the second draft, I'm I feel a little duped, but either way, it was really sweet of you because I know that with your specific situation and what you have going on as far as mental stuff, that it probably isn't easy for you to come around that quick. Like for me, also, it isn't easy for me to come around that quick, especially so anyway, I thought it was really nice. And I just basically was like, listen, I really appreciate the apology. Today was really hard. At that point, I still had no clue what I was going to do. And then I was like, I have to salvage this somehow because my kids came to this theme park and didn't get to do any themes.
Yeah, no theming had happened yet.
And so I checked your location to make sure that you weren't going to be where we were going, because the awkwardness of that would have killed me, like taken me out. Like I would have passed away from the stress of the awkwardness. And I saw you were at Golden Corral and I'm like, we got to hurry. And we went to the bowling alley and I was afraid you were going to come there after, because I'm pretty sure we'd been there before together.
Oh yeah, we bowled last time. I had forgotten. Yeah.
They put us in the lane right by the door. I'm like, God damn it. Now I can't even hide from her when she comes in. Like I was looking over my shoulder the whole night, like just tripping. And then we had played laser tag, and I had spent most of that day obsessively Googling symptoms. And I don't know why, but whenever I get super manic and erratic, I assume, I don't know if I'm looking for answers or what, but like I am so convinced. And I told you this before we even had our thing, that I have ALS. I'm so convinced. Like, I know it sounds preposterous and I know it is preposterous, but my mind is telling me every minute of every day that I have it. And so I was like obsessively thinking about that the whole time, and just like really going down, really deep down. And I still wasn't sure if we were going to stay or if we were going to go. I was debating on whether or not to go to the ER. I just needed someone to tell me something was wrong with me, because I didn't want to believe that this is who I am. But I ended up sleeping and waking up the next day, and I still didn't feel better. I still felt broken, but I felt less angry. And that's when I texted you. I think, or no, I hadn't texted you yet. We went down to breakfast and Daniel pointed you out, and I was like, I'm going to go hug her. I'll be right back. And that was when I forced you to hug me and sat down at the table with your family and apologized and confessed that I believe I am in need of some sort of psychiatric care.
Yeah.
And then that day, I also wasn't feeling good, because the night before we had a trip planned, and my boyfriend expressed concerns about going, given my mental state. And that enraged me all over again, because I was like, wow, he thinks I'm too fucking crazy to go on this trip, dude. And it pissed me off, because it's the one thing that like I've been looking forward to, is like a reprieve, a break. I need it so bad. And so the whole day too, I was like pissed at him, and he didn't know what to do, because I've never been that way with him. He didn't know what to say. Everything he said was wrong. Every time he tried, and he was so sweet, dude. I'm not used to somebody like trying over and over and over again in those moments when I'm being a bitch, dude. And like I would walk away from him and cross my arms and go stand by a building, and he would follow me over and tell me he loves me. And then I'd walk away and he would follow me there and say, you are loved, whatever. So anyway, we were sitting on the curb and I was crying and typing in my journal, and I heard someone saying my name, and I looked over and it was you and Dave's weird asses in some medieval castle. Just happened to be in the same ride at the same time that my kids were going to ride, because I was like, I'm going to let my kids ride these rides, but I can't watch them ride rides, because all I picture is just, I have like visuals of their bodies hitting the pavement over and over every time they go on a ride, and I can't shake it. It makes me cry. So I think you maybe saw that in my eyes and offered to keep the children for the day. And without hesitation, I was like, yes, please. And
well, I could see you were pretty devastated on the curb.
Yeah.
And so the kids had run up. And so I let them, they were at the end of the line. And I was like, those are my kids. And so the people let them cut in line. And so I snuck them up with us. And we were talking about the ride, and we went and we rode the ride together. And when we walked out and I saw you standing there, I just was like, okay, she's not well.
Mm.
I had ulterior motives.
Of course, and I loved it.
Because I usually do. I am not
Yes, you
as
are.
selfless as some people would give me credit for. Others wouldn't. Dave knows how selfish I am. But Dave and I were walking through the park alone. It was noon. We had been in the park for 2 hours and our kids had left us.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to be off with their friends. They wanted to explore the park on their own. They did not want to ride rides with us. And it was just he and I walking around, which is a little weird to be two solo middle-agers in Legoland. And so I was like ready to snatch your kids up to just be like, let me mother someone
Mm-hmm.
and take them on rides and then buy them treats and do fun things with them, because my kids, literally every 15 minutes, I was getting a phone call from the bank because they thought it was a fraud alert because my kids just kept using my credit card throughout Legoland.
Mm-hmm.
So I just said, can we take the kids for you? And I don't think let me finish. You just said, yes. And I said, okay, she can't be that mad because she let me have her kids. So I was like, she's not well, but she can't be that mad at me because she let me take her kids.
No, I wasn't mad at you on day 2.
Yeah, if you were mad, I knew if you were mad at me on day 2, you wouldn't have let me to have the kids.
Right.
So she let me have the kids, and I got to be honest, we tore up Legoland, Peppa Pig Land, and the water park from noon until 6 p.m.
Yep. Absolutely.
Best day.
And I had been sleeping. And at 3, I think it was like, it had been a few hours that you had the kids, maybe like 3 hours. And Daniel woke me up. He's like, hey, you want to text Meredith and see if she wants to drop the kids off? And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, she's had them for a while, and I don't know, maybe she is ready to bring them back. Have you checked your phone? And I was like, she would text me or call me if she was done. She would just bring them right here. She doesn't need me, but I looked and there was no text, no nothing. I sent you a text check-in. And you're like, no, we're amazing. We're great. Rest. And then I went right the fuck back to sleep.
Oh,
And
good.
I truly believe that it was really interesting because I was so angry on day 1 at you, but at the world, I think. And then on day 2, it made me emotional because I'm like, what a good fucking friend I have, dude. Like, what a good friend. Not only did you save me in that moment, but you ensured that my kids had the frigging time of their life. And they did, because when they came back to the hotel room and looked like they were high on cocaine,
well,
they couldn't stop raving about what an amazing day it was. And they kept thanking me for bringing them there. And it was because of you. And I will never forget that. And I will always, always be grateful for that.
I may have given them a bit too many sweets while we were in the park. And I do apologize for that.
I expected it.
Here's the issue with Legoland. So you spend $20 on this cup and you can refill it at any soda station.
Mm-hmm.
And the soda stations are only a few steps between each other. So the kids are like, I want vanilla Fanta. And then 5 minutes later, I want orange Fanta. And then 5 minutes later, I want vanilla Coke. And I'm like, fuck, man, this is rough. This is going to be bad. And of course, Dave is right next to them in line, filling up with Fantas and all sorts. And I was just like, oh my God. At one point, we got to a fill-up station, and they're like, "You must wait 3 minutes." And I was like, "Oh my God, how much soda have you had that the machine is telling you no?"
That's so funny.
we had, and it's hot. It was hot out. So they were drinking because they were thirsty, but they were drinking pure sugar.
Right.
So anyway, we did some ices, we had some popcorn, I don't remember. We fed them lunch, I think. I mean, there were treats and food and fun stuff, but you had a turkey leg. Chloe went, "Oh my God, I'm going to vomit." And then she goes, "I can't vomit or I'll die." And then she was like, "Don't vomit." And I was like, "Okay, nobody's going to vomit, Chloe." But then we did the water park, which was so fun because we rode all the slides at the water park. We rode every ride in Legoland. We went over and we must have done the Daddy Pig ride 8 times. Dave actually got sick and goes, "I can't go on another ride." He got off. And so I sat and I kept going. And at one point at like on Daddy Pig, we told the worker, "Tell the kids it's broken." Because I started getting off the ride and I would fall to the one side. And I was like, "I may have vertigo. I'm not sure." And Chloe was like, "I want to go." And I was like, "Chloe, I need 1 minute. And then we can do whatever you want, but I need a solid 60. Okay."
Yeah. And dude, I accidentally left her medicine at home. And her medicine is very important in regards to like behavior and stuff. And so I was concerned. But you said they were
angels. The 2 of them were pure. They were just so well behaved, manners. So your fear, and this is what I wanted to bring up when we talked about this. So you have a fear that you're ruining the kids because you're too lenient. You're filling them with anxieties and fears. You're doing XYZ. Your kids were phenomenal, and I don't like children.
Caden went down the water slide. Matthias wouldn't go down.
Yeah, Caden went down the straight drop water slide, which we couldn't even talk Matthias into doing. So in terms of filling your kids with fears and anxieties and them
Listen,
not
this
having,
dude can't walk up the stairs by himself. Okay. I don't
Listen,
know where that slide situation came from.
He did phenomenal. Chloe and I talked the entire time. I had a little parrot. She was like my little parrot on my shoulder. And we just jibber jabbed the entire time. We had a blast. I needed it. It was soul for my medicine for my soul, because I got to have littles that I got to sort of cart around. And my kids did come and check in with us throughout the day. They would tell us where they were, or we'd run into them at the park or whatever. So I got to see my kids, and I did get to ride some rides with Matthias and his girlfriend, Sophia. And then I did ride on day 1 with Sophia and her friend Lexi. And I did ride with Brian and his friend Thomas. But I mean, I had 6 teenagers in that park, and for 2 days, and they had a blast.
Yeah.
Your kids had a blast.
And then that's why I was so bummed, because I don't know if we can say, but they hosted us. And should we cut that or no?
No, it's fine. They invited us to come to the park because and we had a phenomenal time. I mean, we've been to Legoland how many times? Maybe 8 times total. Not like them hosting us. That's only been like you and I have gone. This was our 2nd time. But I mean, Dave and I were like pass holders with the kids when they were little. Like we went all the time.
I will say it is a great place if you are going to have a mental breakdown, because the hotel is walking distance. There's nice trees around the area if you are trying to hide from every human on earth. No, I have, and that's the thing too that I was bummed about. I'm like, dude, I do have so many freaking cute videos, because like in our room there was a treasure chest and the kids had to solve a puzzle to open it. And when you open it, there's like Legos inside and apple juices, and there's bananas hidden in the room, and you count how many bananas there are. Like it was so, if I wasn't in the mind space that I was in, it would have been such a great trip because it feels like it's really easy for the parents. They have
Well,
so
and you
much
turn
shit
the
to do.
TV on and every channel is a cartoon.
And
I mean, they're very smart with how they do things.
there's Legos in the room, like
Yep.
to play with and stuff. And my kids were like occupied the entire time. Even in the hotel room, they weren't bored. And the lobby was like its own theme park. It was just
Yep.
really cool. And I feel terrible that I was unable to get my shit together long enough to capture the experience, but there was no way that I could look into the camera and talk about how much fun I was having when the truth is I felt lower than I have in a really long time and wanted to die. Not because of the place, but because of my own mental issues that I am exploring. And this isn't, I mean, by the time this comes out, it's already going to be halfway through, but like after I fulfill my obligations today, I'm going to take social media off my phone. I'm not going to be on the internet for at least, I'm going to Wisconsin. We decided that it would be good as opposed to bad because we're not going with kids. It's just him and I. And it'll be a reprieve. It'll be away from my house, which is completely in disarray. It'll be away from my responsibilities. It'll be like escaping. And I think it's going to be so good for my soul. But then after that, I am going to look into either inpatient or extensive outpatient mental health, psychiatry help because I am effed up in the game and I am admitting it. Like I am unwell and I need help.
Yeah. I think Wisconsin is going to be great. I agree with you that you should look to go. I mean, I'm sure there are outpatient places right there at home for you that if you wanted to stay, sort of plugged in. I'm not talking social media. I just mean life, plugged into life while doing an outpatient program. I'm sure there are some that are close to you. But if you feel like you need 7 days or, because I know that there are 7-day programs, 30-day programs, like whatever it is that you need, then I think that that's what you should do.
Yeah. It's
Do you
just,
feel
I've never been afraid of myself before as far as violence and anger. And I know I'm not going to hurt anyone, but if things keep going the way that they are, like I was looking for a reason to punch someone in the face at Legoland. I'm not kidding. I was walking around with my fists balled up, shooting daggers, like wishing a motherfucker would, because I had so much rage. I had to get it out. And it was just, it's really scary. And I don't know why. I know anxiety and rage go hand in hand, but the amount of rage that I feel is completely disproportionate to the situation.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but you're talking about it and you're working through it and you're looking for solutions. So nothing here, you're not hiding from it. So I think you just have to decide, and maybe that's something that you just put a think on it while you're away on your trip. Like, do you need to go away for a week or 30 days or whatever that program looks like? Or is that something that you can do while you're still sort of at home and involved or whatever?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe after the trip, I'll feel more grounded because right now it feels like I need to go somewhere just so I could have a break, just so I could have an escape.
Right, but Wisconsin might be the perfect time and place and escape
Right, which
for just a little bit.
Exactly. So that might take away the escape aspect, and maybe I only do outpatient. But either way, I'm not going to return to the public eye until I get my shit together, because otherwise it'll be fake.
No, I don't think, and that when you said it to me, I didn't disagree with you. I was like, no, I think you should look into it. I think you should, you know, work on it and figure this out because you can't. fill anybody else's cup when yours is broken and empty.
Yeah.
And I don't, there's no shame in knowing that you need to go and focus on you and get the help that you need and work through it.
And thank you. And I just want to clarify, like, the kids are in no danger. When they come around, I am able to switch it off because my number one priority in life, to a fault, I think, is to make sure that they're okay and make sure that they're not traumatized and make sure that they're not sad or stressed. So in those moments, if I feel incapable of doing that, that's when I run. And I've ran out of this house barefoot twice in the past few months because I knew that I was unable to, I needed to go. I'm a runner, dude. I don't know. I have to, it's this overwhelming feeling of needing to disappear in the moment and not be around people.
Yeah, I understand that. And I think that you're just being honest about it is exactly what you need to do. But I do think you're going to have a blast with Daniel because he's a great guy and he takes very good care of you. I did offer him, I extended a tips and tricks if he wanted any help with dealing with you in certain situations.
I know, that was so nice. I hope he takes you up on it.
But I mean, he's a great guy who genuinely I could see that he cares for you and loves you. And so it's very nice. It was very nice to sit and we sat and we talked for hours on Tuesday night, which was wonderful. So,
and you know what, I got to give him credit because prior to that talk, I mean, I traumatized the guy, dude. You know what I mean? I unloaded everything onto him because he's kind. And so when we were at the table, even then he wasn't his outgoing self because I think he was contemplating his existence and like how to escape.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, I did a number this weekend, and I even made a video, dude. I just remembered this. I made a video at one point when I was hiding. I think it was a short video, but it was like I felt the need to hold on. This is embarrassing because I don't remember what I said. I'm at Legoland and I just walked away from everybody. I can't leave the house. Can't be around people. Hate everything. I want to disappear. Fucking, I ruin everything. Yeah, I don't know if you could hear it, but I basically was just saying I ruin everything, and that's how it felt in that moment. Is I ruin everything.
Well, nothing got ruined.
Well, thankfully in the end, but if it was up to me, it would have been.
But
anyway, yeah.
There are people in your life that support you, and it's it ended up being, I know that it was a rough trip for you, but like you said earlier, your kids had a wonderful time.
Thanks to you.
We got to have a wonderful time. My kids had a wonderful time. So in terms of a success, it was a success in those regards. And now it's time for you to go. What day do you leave? Monday. So on Monday, you go, you enjoy your time with him and his family and friends, and you take that week, and then you just figure out. It's like, think of it like a week-long shavasana, and like decide what it is that you need in that time while you're there.
That was a word that you said.
In yoga, shavasana, it's at the end when you lay down and it's just quiet and you're peacefully sort of like meditating on the moment.
Of course. How could I forget?
Okay, so sorry. People who do yoga will know what a shavasana is. I always say it's my favorite part of the yoga because you're laying still and like almost napping.
Yeah, I like that.
That would be your favorite part.
I have an appointment with my psychiatrist after this.
Okay,
Thank
great.
the Lord. How serendipitous. Can't wait to tell her this story all over again. It's going to be
Send her the link
to the podcast. I'll be like, can you just watch this, dude? I don't feel like saying it again.
Well, that's okay though. It's good that you're meeting with her right away and then you can set up a game plan.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to prioritize my mental health more than anything. And
Yep.
like literally I have to. So I try to keep it balanced, but I'm going to let the work suffer a little bit. I'm going to fulfill whatever obligations I already have committed to and just do the bare minimum while I fix my brain.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It will. I know it will. And it was a really good trip for us in the sense of we got to spend a lot of really good quality time with your kids. Our kids had a blast. And even though we only got to hang out for a few hours, it was still worth it to be over there and at least get to sit next to you and share some conversation. So
absolutely, I agree.
So, all right, guys. Well, that was it was a heavy one today, but it was also, I think, at least for me, it's important that we share these types of things because we're not the only ones that are going through this kind of shit. And if we share it, then people feel less alone. And if they feel less alone, then they'll reach out to their support system or to people that, mental health professionals so that they can get the help that they need. And you can't think of taking a break from this as something that is negative or hurting people because you're showing them what's necessary to do in their own lives for their own mental health.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And thank you for everything. I keep saying weekend, this time.
I know, but it was weird, right? Because it did feel like a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But all right, guys, well, join us next time because it won't be next week because Tiffany will be in Wisconsin eating up all the curds.
And whey.
Yeah. So join us next time for another episode of Take It
or Leave It, an advice-ish podcast. An advice-ish podcast hosted by two struggling moms. Is that it?
Yep. Who have no
idea what we're
doing. We'll see you next time, guys.
Love you. Bye.
Can you hit the end for us? Stop stream.